Staying with us as we move over to North America for our next story, where President Trump's top immigration officials have come out defending the use of aggressive snatch and detain tactics by masked and armed federal agents, days after a federal judge ruled that arrests were being made based upon race alone. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made the administration's case on the Sunday talk shows, just a day after a farm worker died in California after being injured in a raid on a legal cannabis farm. On a show on CNN, Homan said that physical description cannot be the sole reason to detain and question somebody, adding it's a myriad of factors. However, he acknowledged that appearance was one of those factors and said that there were sometimes collateral arrests of innocent people in targeted raids. He further said the administration would comply with the judge's decision but fight it on appeal. Trump, who campaigned on a pledge to deport millions of undocumented immigrants, have taken a number of actions aimed at speeding up deportations and reducing border crossings. We're now once again joined by Scott Faulkner. Scott, a federal judge has ruled that some of these arrests were based on race alone, which is unconstitutional, according to the court. How does the administration justify continuing these raids that have been found to legally violate civil rights?
Well, first of all, since the beginning of the deportations under Trump, the left-wing groups have been constantly finding the most left-wing, Obama or Biden-appointed judges to help them cripple America's effort to restore basically sanity to its immigration system and to close its borders and to achieve viable homeland security. So having another left-wing judge screaming that it's unconstitutional is just part of their strategy to cripple what needs to be done. And you have to remember that under Biden, almost 21 million illegals from 99 different countries came into this country, came into America. Many, and a good portion of them, certainly at least 10, maybe 20% of that 21 million are basically cartel members, are drug dealers, are murderers, are rapists, or human traffickers, and those need to be removed. The other people are complicit, in some cases actually helping them with their illegal activities in this country. Now, in the case of the California raids on what are basically legal marijuana sites, these were people that were running human trafficking. There were at least a dozen young people, which is illegal. Child labor is illegal in America. It's illegal in California, and they stopped that. They basically rescued those children.
Scott, there's been serious issues in regards to mainly the detainment of immigrants here. We've obviously just seen this incident where a worker died in California after being injured in a raid on a legal cannabis farm. We've also seen incidents of the wrong people being deported, innocent people being deported. You have the famous case of Kilmar Abrado Garcia, who's currently in El Salvador. The Trump administration admitted it made a mistake, yet has refused to return him. Do you think that if the administration knows it has gotten something wrong, it is his job to do its due diligence to correct that mistake? What are your thoughts?
Well, of course, you want to get it right 100% of the time. But when you're after literally 21 million illegals, and they are illegals, they have broken the law, and of that, up to maybe 20% true criminals, and you're trying to move quickly, you're going to make mistakes. I mean, that's the law of averages, game theory, whatever you want to call it, it's going to happen. So the question is, do you remove people who have killed people and could kill more people as fast as possible? Or do you basically, look at, I'm doing 98% right and saving lives and making America stronger and more secure? Or do I basically grind everything to a halt so that I do 100% and people die, more drugs are flow, more people are exploited. So it's one of these things that when you're dealing with homeland security, when you're dealing with lives of innocent people who've been raped, killed, and exploited by these cartels, by these horrible people who've come into this country, what is the threshold for action? And it's always a dilemma, and mistakes are always going to be made unless you just stop doing everything, but we cannot stop doing everything.
Scott, one would argue that these mistakes that happen, that the Trump administration has acknowledged in the past, the administration hasn't accepted the human cost of these operations. Do you think the administration should accept responsibility for this human cost of these operations, even when these legal workers are being targeted?
Well, for the last 4 years, you had an administration that did not take responsibility for the women who were raped and murdered by illegal aliens. So so some of the people who are screaming about Trump and his administration not doing it were incredibly silent during the last 4 years when real horrible people came into this country, were actually allowed into this country in some cases, and killed, raped innocent people. So there's a lot of disingenuous posturing here that I really think people need to think about.
Okay, Scott Faulkner, thank you very much for joining us on the program. We now move over to South Asia, where the succession